So I'm thinking about buying something for like $1.3 million. Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 220, and today I want to talk to you guys about an investment opportunity that I want to pitch you on. Just kidding, I'm not going to pitch you on any investment opportunity. Basically what I'm going to be talking about is an opportunity that we have, meaning Ashley and I, for purchasing a new commercial space. And when I say new commercial space, I'm not talking about replacing our existing clinic. As you guys know, we had a flood in our clinic, and so in the chaos of all of that, we ended up looking for some other commercial space and happened to stumble across a space that we actually thought would be pretty good from an expansion standpoint into the Scottsdale area. So if you're familiar with my clinic already, we're basically on like the north end of Phoenix, really close to the 101 and 51 freeways. And it's a great location. I mean, you can get to our place from pretty much anywhere in the valley, but a lot of people, they essentially, when they look at where we're located, they're like, I don't want to go all the way over there. We're just going to try to find someone closer to us when it comes to treating their hearing loss. So we're like, well, let's, take a look at some of the commercial properties in the area and see what's available, see what's good. And we ended up stumbling across this place over on Raintree Boulevard in like the North Scottsdale area. It's in a terrific location, and it's almost twice the size of the space that we're in right now. And, this whole experience that we've gone through with the flooding and all that, and kind of being restricted in terms of what we could do from a treatment standpoint inside of the temporary location, now that we're going back to the main location, a lot of that will get better, but we still realize that our ability to treat and serve people with hearing loss depends on the space that we have in order to do so. And when we first moved into the place in North Phoenix from my original location in Anthem, Arizona, we had more space than what we needed, and it wasn't an issue whatsoever. We had 3 treatment rooms, 2 sound booth rooms, and we had 2 providers. And I was already going down to 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week, so we didn't even have 2 full-time providers at that time. And what happened is that we ended up growing rapidly when we got into the Phoenix area, and it has now created a situation where we have 4 providers inside of our clinic, 4 audiologists, and we all can't work at the same time because there's not enough space for us all to work at the same time. So a couple of us have different days that we just don't even physically go into the clinic. We might have other stuff project-wise that we're doing. Dr. Rachel Cook creates content. I'm doing content and meetings like crazy, and speaking engagements like crazy on the days that I'm not in the clinic. But we realize that if we want to grow, we are going to have more physical space to grow. And if you guys have been following my vlog from like day one, you know that my goal isn't to like take over the entire valley of Phoenix and the greater Phoenix area with a bunch of clinics. My goal is to provide a really high level of care and to serve people in our community. And I feel like another year or 2 from now, if we don't have a place to expand into, we are literally going to be capped out, and we're not going to be able to take any more patients with the way that we're growing at this point. So, this is an opportunity for us to actually expand our footprint. It is not really far away from our existing clinic location, maybe 15-20 minutes at the most, but it will open up the opportunity to have people who are more in the Scottsdale area who don't want to travel all the way to the North Phoenix area to just easily get up. It's right along 101 on the east side of the valley, so very easy to get to, and it's a pretty highly densely populated area. And then up north, Scottsdale is growing like crazy too. So it will help us essentially serve our community and expand our footprint, like I've said, 3 times now in this video, so we can do so. Now, here comes the scary part. It's going to cost well over $1 million for us to actually invest in this property. And I realized that we could just rent space, but rental rates are absolutely insane, and I don't like the unpredictability of of renting, meaning they could essentially not renew your lease, and then you're like, where the heck do we go? I don't like the idea that when you essentially rent a place from someone, if it's already built out, they're not very keen to go in and make a bunch of tenant improvements and then augment your entire space to serve what you want to do inside of that space. It is much easier to own the space and then literally create the space exactly to what your needs are, it just costs more money to do it, right? Not to mention, you can basically lock in your monthly cost of essentially being in that location. Now, the space that I'm talking about is about, 4,200 square feet. It's like I said, it's on Raintree Boulevard in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's on a second floor, and it's really 2 units kind of combined into one. But when we did a walkthrough, we're kind of like, man, do we need to rip this thing down to the studs? Not really. I think that there's some cosmetic stuff that we could do, and doing some minor architectural changes. I've been communicating with an architect to try to figure out what it would cost to have them do the not complete, but do the redesign of the space, because there's some wasted space inside of the clinic that we would need to essentially correct, either before or after we move in. But I think that there's a lot of cosmetic stuff that we could do to get functioning in there relatively soon. And you know what? I happened to do a little video recording when we did our tour inside of this place. So let me kind of do a little narration for you here. I'm going to hit play on the video. All right, so that's the second floor here. There's kind of the front entrance area. And let me just kind of take you through this waiting room that we're in right now, and that is a conference room over there that my friend Craig Casper is standing in, and you can see Ashley there off to the side, and then here is kind of the reception desk area. Not a huge fan of the brick there, but we could probably change that. Really nice, structure on the ceiling, and then plenty of space for waiting room area. As we kind of enter into the rest of the workspace here, this might be like a manager's office right there. And then straight ahead, that's actually a partitioned off our office, which is nice. And you can see good light in there. And then there's kind of like workstation areas there. And this is kind of like a printer copier room that we would have to figure out what to do, probably turn it into a workroom or something like that. But we'd probably need doors on these open workspaces and kind of rip out the desks and all of that. Or we could leave them, who knows. This right here is another completely partitioned off office, which is nice as well. Great views from that office. And then here is our kitchen / break room area. And then as we go kind of into another workspace area that isn't very functional. And then we have 3 different offices over here on the side, which we probably don't need to do a whole lot with, honestly. I think that we can get away with kind of leaving these as is for treatment rooms. And then as we work into the storage space here, and there's an IT space that was back there a little further, and then we have 3 large treatment rooms with big, gorgeous glass walls, basically, looking into them. Super excited for those, but they are rather big. They're bigger than any office we currently have in our current location. And as I spin around here, there is a restroom inside of here. There's actually a common area restroom outside in the breezeway, but that's nice because the employees would potentially have a restroom. And then this is all just wasted space right here going to the second door. And then I'm not really sure what we would do with this. This is what we would need the architect's help for, because that is not very functional space right there. There's my buddy Brad Stewart, who was visiting us when we were doing this tour. And that is pretty much the space right there. So as you can see, it's a pretty big space for us to work in, and do some painting, add a couple of doors and create actual partitioned off offices, maybe redo some flooring inside of there, get rid of that brick, and do something different with the reception area. But I think that we could all do that, or we could do all of that and have it be relatively affordable. And so basically our cost estimates when we start looking at this, for that 4,200 square feet, it's probably going to cost us every bit of like $1.5 million plus, after you factor in all of the upgrades that we want to do inside of the place. Might even be a little bit more than that. And so that is a rather hefty number to pay, obviously. And it's a, you know, I wouldn't say I'm scared, because I'm confident that we have proof of concept with the projects that we do, with the treatments that we do, that we're going to continue on to be successful with what we're doing here in the greater Phoenix area. But you know, anytime that you're spending over $1 million on something, that is something that you got to be like, whoa, this is like a big deal. I am not like a multi-millionaire who can just start throwing money around. There is risk involved with this. And then on top of that, the economy, I don't know, is not great. You could argue with me on that, but like, I don't think that the economy is great. And in particular, the interest rates are extremely high. It is going to be well over 8% to from a loan perspective, to take out a loan to purchase this property and to do the improvements. To give you an idea, when we purchased our existing location here in North Phoenix, back in end of 2019 is when we purchased it, so right before COVID, our interest rate on that is like 3%. So we're literally going, you know, for a space that's 3 times as expensive, and we're going to be doing almost 3 times the interest rate for that. Now, we could potentially refinance in the future, but if you ask me, I really don't think that the interest rates are going to come down anytime soon with what's going on economically here in 2024. So there is a bit of a risk associated with that, trying to do this in a down economy, so to speak. But, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, either going into later this year or early next year, a lot of that economic stuff starts to kind of settle down. And hopefully the Fed starts, you know, lowering the interest rates here a little bit would be very helpful, because we're talking thousands of dollars per month difference if you were to go from an 8% interest rate down to a 5% interest rate. We're thousands of dollars per month. So that's a big deal. So we'll see what happens. We basically put in an offer, as of when I'm recording this, we put in an offer 1 day ago, and we're expecting it to take a couple of days going in to this next week for them to review our letter of intent. And basically we're going to be in a negotiation for what the ultimate purchase price will be. But hey, aren't you guys excited? The first vlog I ever posted on this video was after I purchased my location in North Phoenix. So if you want to go back and watch that video, by all means do that. But we could be on the verge of me doing an entirely new vlog series about us getting a new clinic location and redesigning it and growing it, and that should be fun for everybody. So if you guys think it's a good idea for me to purchase a location at this point in time, do me a favor and give a thumbs up to this video. If you think it's a bad idea, let me know why in the description, because my opinion on whether or not we should actually purchase this place could be swayed by what you guys think. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But I would appreciate your input, either pro or con, for doing an investment in real estate, in commercial real estate at this point in time. But that's all I wanted to talk about with you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, like I said, hit that thumbs up button. And as always, I'll see you next week.